Right, well, here's something a tiny bit different. I thought I'd try some unusual food. I may do more of this in future. Um, but this week, a leading supermarket in the UK decided they were going to start carrying insects and edible insects and become, therefore, the first supermarket in the UK to do so. I went along to the supermarket in Manchester that I was led to believe would be stocking them and couldn't see them there. Tried another couple of stores and wasn't able to find them, so ordered some online and they arrived today. Now I've cut the tape on the box and already opened it up to have a look, um, but I haven't yet opened the pack, the packs of insects, and I haven't tried them yet. They're. I was intending to order three different flavors, but they weren't available, so it's three of the same. So I'm only going to try one of them. I'm going to take one into work to try with work colleagues. So let's get the box open. And so right away on the lid, we've got various bits of information. So a healthier alternative gram for gram. So it's comparing per 100 grams how much protein, iron, and calcium you have in 100 grams of cricket. So much more, particularly with the protein and calcium in a cricket, and a fairly significant amount more of iron. And it's comparing it, as it is in all these infographics, to chickens, beef, and pork. And they're quite heavy on this environmental responsibility here. So here we have resources to produce 1 kilogram of each protein source, and it's talking about how many litres of water are required. So here, it requires by far the most amount of water, insects by far the least, and pigs and pork and chickens not terribly dissimilar. And in terms of grams of feed, again, beef is by far the most. Pork requires slightly less, chicken less again, and crickets less still. Still quite a significant amount, but far less than the others. Similarly, we have square meters of cultivable land required to produce 1 kilogram of each. And you can see in this one, similar to the water, the beef is far ahead, requiring much more cultivable land. Pork and chicken not that widely different, and only a small amount required for insects to produce 1 kilogram. Again, I'm assuming I'm just taking these figures on trust. They don't provide any sources for this information, so, and I haven't checked, so I don't know how accurate any of this is. And finally, they talk about average greenhouse gas emissions from the production of 1 kilogram of protein. And again, it's the same picture. Most is required for beef, a fair amount less required for pork, much less for chicken, and the least for insects. And so we've got that environmental information. Now, what we have on the pack and what we have on the front and back, we have some more infographics. We have essentially the same to produce 1 kilogram of protein, the litres of water that are required, and the grams of feed that are required. So it's the same information, just in a slightly different infographic. But what they also emphasize on the pack which is what you'd be picking up in store. And what they emphasise much more here is how tasty these are. So you grow delicious insect snacks. They make a big play of the flavour, Smoky BBQ. It would be easy to pick this up thinking it was some kind of chip or edamame beans or something, without looking and without realising it was crickets. It does say insect, it does say crickets, but it would be easy to pick this up without thinking. Maybe think it was some kind of eat box or something of that nature. So yeah, delicious insect snacks. This delicious bag of crunchy crickets, tasty and nutritious, lovingly roasted, more exciting than a crisp. And why should I eat crickets? As well as being delicious. So they're really, really emphasising this is tasty. You're going to enjoy this. Don't worry about it. So not much more to say about the front. They emphasise that there's a lot of protein in there, which we saw from this infographic. Here, much more protein per 100 grams. So the ingredients, crickets, as you'd expect, rapeseed oil, soft brown sugar, castor sugar, salt, wheat flour, xanthan gum, malt vinegar powder, cayenne pepper, garlic powder, coriander powder, paprika, tomato powder, hickory smoke. So, I mean, other than the insects, it's pretty vegetarian friendly. I mean, obviously, it's not vegetarian friendly in the slightest, but you took the crickets out, you'd have a fine vegetarian pack of dust. Now, you'll notice that crickets and wheat flour, maybe you won't, maybe now you will. Crickets and wheat flour, now it's not focusing, are in bold type. The reason for that is below. Allergens, see ingredients in bold. Contains gluten, that'll be the wheat flour. And if you are allergic to shellfish, you may be allergic to insects as well. And it's also produced on a site that handles nuts, which is not massively surprising. This is a fairly standard snack that you might pick up in a supermarket. Well, you wouldn't have been able to pick it up in a supermarket before today, but now you can. Or the kind of thing you might see in a pub. And this bit of text here in full, which I skipped over before. This delicious bag of crunchy crickets is a celebration of the humble insect. Enjoyed around the world, insects are not only tasty and nutritious, but sustainable to farm too. Lovingly roasted by our chef Sebi, Eat Grub's crickets are more sustainable than pork scratchings and more exciting than a crisp. So grab a drink and get your cricket on. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. I will get myself a glass of water. I will rearrange the camera so that hopefully you'll see my face. And then I'll get into them. Actually, first what I'll do is I will open this up and let you have a look in the pack at the same time that I do. There we go. And it's got one of these. So, yeah, I think you can see those. They're fairly substantially sized crickets. They smell quite... Yeah, they smell like Smoky BBQ. Smoky BBQ flavour for sure. And let me just get one out so that you can... is that going to focus? I don't think it is. Let me turn the camera. No, no, it's not focusing terrifically well. Well, I can see it quite clearly. So I will put that back in the packet and I will be back shortly. Okay, this set took me slightly longer to set up than I intended. And then I had to do a set rescue when some of it collapsed, but we should be fine now. So yeah, these insects here, they look fine. They seem like a sort of nice entry-level introduction in that they don't look too much like living insects. They don't look too freaky. I mean, some of them seem to have some sort of legs sticking out, but there's not a lot of limbs sticking off them. There's not a lot of feelers there. They look like fairly compact individual little units, and that's good. Yeah, they taste like smoky barbecue flavour. In fact, they taste less weirdly sweet than some smoky barbecue flavour can taste, particularly given the amount of sugar these seem to have in there. Yeah, that's very nice. I think if you were blind tasting these, you might be a bit puzzled as to what shape they were meant to be, but I don't think you would. Insects wouldn't be your go-to. They do taste I'd have to say maybe a little meaty. Not massively, but I think these are probably more palatable as a starter than, say, something like maggots would be, or spiders. You know, something that was more obviously creepy and an insectoid, or like more obviously like a maggot. These just look like sort of chips. They could be kind of tiny little chips of pork scratchings, as they say on here. Yeah, I would very much recommend these, or any other brand if they're available. You can see I'm just munching away. I'm very much enjoying these. Yeah, that's it. I will probably eat more weird things in future if I can remember and get hold of them. That's all for now. I'll see you for whatever my next adventure online is. Bye.